friends. Welcome back to Good Grief Life After Loss. Today's episode is kind of a fun one, also kind of a scary one. What inspired this week's episode is that I am going to see a medium tomorrow. This is something I booked a very long time ago, but I've been looking forward to it for months. Something that's interesting is this is not a solo session reading with a medium. It's actually a group session. So there's going to be like 40 people in a room, almost like a lecture style room. All of us just praying that our person is coming through, and the medium will be up in the front, and she will just kind of, I don't really know the technical terms, open the floodgates for the spirits, and whatever spirits come to her and speak to her, she will share that with the audience and see if it connects with anyone. And while I am, of course, hoping Sam comes through for me, that is like the number one reason I'm going. I also am really excited to see other people get signs from their person and just get to experience like the magic of it all. And as a result, I have been thinking a lot about signs from the other side, signs from the universe, our people, whatever you want to call it. And I want to talk about that today with you all, honestly, without feeling silly and without pretending like I have to pick a side of like believer or skeptic. Because I think I'm a mix of both. And I think that's totally normal to be both. I live in that in-between spot of like spiritual, but also a little suspicious, but mostly hopeful. So today we are going to talk about what signs are and what they are not and why we look for them, a little psychology behind it and the magic of it all, and how it all ties into the medium visit I am both excited and terrified for. So let's get into it. Okay, so when people say, I got a sign, what does that mean? Usually it's something small that just feels way too weirdly perfect to ignore. A song that comes on at the exact right moment, a number you see everywhere, a coin showing up in a place it shouldn't, a bird landing right next to you, a light flickering at the exact moment you're thinking about your person, or a dream that feels more like a visit than a dream. And then you're like, okay, that was weird. That was special. That felt like them? Question mark, maybe? For me, obviously, the song Firework by Katy Perry is huge. I think we all know by now it has significant meaning for Sam. We play it at a lot of important events. And I have had so many random moments where it will just come on out of the blue. And I just know. Or at least I tell myself, this is Sam saying, hey, I'm here. He's laughing with me. He's checking in. He's giving me a hug. He's saying he's okay, and so am I. But then also, I've had times where I'm at CVS trying to buy toothpaste and the song comes on. I'm like, hey, not trying to cry right now next to the travel size shampoo. What is happening here? Signs definitely do not care about timing. But also here's where things get complicated because I cannot help but wonder, like, are these actually signs from my person? Or do I just want them to be? And I have literally no idea. So I guess we can talk about both possibilities today. First off, let's talk about why we want signs so badly. I think all grievers know that grief changes how you listen to the world, how you see and observe the world. Suddenly, everything becomes a potential message. And it makes sense because when someone you love dies, the communication you used to have every day just stops. The texts stop, the hugs stop, the inside jokes stop, the making new memories stop, and you're desperate for anything that feels like connection. And I think signs, even tiny ones, feel like such a strong lifeline to your person. There's also this really nice comfort in believing that death doesn't just cut the cord. Like the relationship continues even after your person is gone, just in a different form. And I think a lot of times we want a sign because something big is happening. You're graduating, you're traveling, you're starting something new or finishing something scary, and you want your person to say, hey, I see you, I'm proud of you. Other times you want a sign because you are really struggling. You're exhausted, you're grieving harder than usual, and you want reassurance, like a wink from the universe. And then sometimes you just want a sign because you miss them, or you want proof that they're still looking out for you. But I feel like something we don't talk about enough is the doubt that comes with these signs. Like when you think you get a sign, part of you feels so lit up and excited, but then there's also that part of you that feels like a fraud, Like you're making it up. Like, did I imagine it? Am I just reading into this too much? Am I desperate? Is this just silly? Like, I don't know if shame is the word, but I guess I'm going to say the shame is real or the confusion is real. I don't know. Or even worse, you go through a stretch where you don't get anything. No signs, no dreams, nothing. And people around you are like, oh my God, I got a sign from my grandma today. Or like, I get signs all the time. And you're just like, well, my brother is apparently on vacation because I have not heard from him in months. And honestly, that can feel like abandonment. It can feel like maybe I'm not spiritual enough, or I'm not open enough, or maybe my person has left, which, like, where are they leaving from? I don't know, but maybe my person is no longer here looking out for me. And that sucks. I don't like that feeling. But in doing my research on signs, I also came across a little bit of science. So let's do a tiny bit of psychology without ruining the vibe, or at least promising to do my best. But something I was reading about is that our brains are literally built to look for patterns. It's like their favorite hobby. So when something stands out, especially when you're grieving, your brain just grabs onto it and goes, hey, this feels important. But here's the part that I actually love, is that when something reminds you of your person, your brain actually fires in the exact same places it did when your person was physically here. The memory, the emotion, the closeness, all of that lights up as if they are there with you for a second. So even if something is technically a coincidence, the way it hits you is still so real. The impact is real. The comfort is real. And you don't have to be all into this spiritual stuff to appreciate that moment and that feeling. But you also don't have to be super logical and shut it down. Like, you're allowed to hang out in that messy, mysterious middle where you're like, yeah, maybe this was a coincidence, but maybe also this was a sign from them. And I'm okay with that. And I want to accept that. And I think most of us live in that kind of weird in-between space. I have actually had a few things happen recently that have made me pause in that, okay, that was weird, what are the odds type of way. And I told you all about the ghost beads a few weeks ago, and that was wild. But also, a few months ago, one of the strangest things happened at work. I have a newer coworker in Boston, and she had just moved into her new house outside the city. And one day she randomly got a piece of mail addressed to the previous owner, which happens all the time, right? But the letter she got was from Live Like Sam, my family's nonprofit in honor of my brother. Also, a nonprofit based in Utah. She received that letter in Massachusetts. She had no idea what it was, but she had just seen me post on LinkedIn about this podcast and Live Like Sam, so it was fresh in her brain. I literally posted that 2 days before she got this mail. And so she sent me a picture and was like, hey, this came to my house. I think it's yours? ? And I was just on the other side staring at that picture going, what the heck? Why on earth would a Live Like Sam donation letter just show up at her brand new address? And it turns out the previous owner had actually donated to us years ago. We don't even know who this person is. But, like, statistically, sure, it could happen. I mean, come on. But yes, it could happen. But the timing, like her knowing me, us working together in Boston of all places, like, you can call that a coincidence. I'm calling that a wicked sign. And I think that is just crazy. And a sign of what, you ask? I don't know. Like, is that a sign that I should stay in Boston, or that Sam is still here, that he likes this job for me? Like, what is the sign? I don't know, but I just think that's crazy. And there's no way that was a coincidence, in my personal opinion. And then another thing that happened most recently, this literally happened yesterday. I was in the car with my friend Christina talking about The Medium because she's coming with me to see The Medium tomorrow. And just before she dropped me off, we were talking about how excited we are and wondering if Sam was going to come through in the reading and if I'd get a sign. And then I got out of the car and walked into my building. Before I even got up to the stairs to my apartment, she texted me and was like, oh my God, guess what just happened? The song Give Heaven Some Hell by Hardy came on the radio the second you left the car. And if you have not listened to that song, you should listen to that song. It is a very good song that is very emotional for me as a griever, but it's one of those songs that hits close to home. It's basically like grief in a melody. And again, coincidence? Maybe. Am I going to call it a coincidence? Absolutely not. I think that's just crazy, and also left me feeling maybe a little too hopeful that Sam is going to come through tomorrow when I'm with The Medium. Anywho, while I have had some great encounters with what at least I am calling signs, I do really want to spend a moment here talking about the other side of all of this, which is what if the signs don't come through? Because that part is real and that part sucks. And I have found myself so many times literally saying out loud, like, Sam, if you are here, send me a sign. Please send me a sign. Please make that light flicker. Please put a song on the radio that I'll recognize is from you. And nothing. And I know firsthand the disappointment that follows from that. It's just, I can't even explain the feeling of like being disappointed and let down by something that maybe isn't even real, but I don't know. So if you have never had a sign from your loved one, or you feel like you should be getting more, or you're scared they aren't reaching out, I want you to hear this. You are not being punished. You are not being forgotten. You are not any less connected to them. Your person is not any less with you. Some people do not get signs in the big, flashy ways. They feel it in their gut, or in the choices they make, or in the person they've grown into since they've experienced loss, or in the moments where they catch themselves doing something that they know their person would have loved. Like sometimes the sign isn't an outside thing at all. Sometimes it's internal, sometimes it's subtle, and honestly, those moments might be the ones that actually stick more, like that feeling of just knowing your person is there, even if the universe is not doing these crazy things to make you believe it or to show you it. So anyways, here's my honest take as someone who is only 24 and still figuring this all out, but who has had 10 years of grief experience. I don't care about proving anything. I don't need other people to believe me. I don't need science or heaven or the universe to stamp approved on every weird moment that I think is Sam talking to me. I just simply believe in signs. I want to, I need to, and honestly, that's enough for me. Not every sign is going to be this big dramatic miracle moment. Sometimes it is a flickering streetlight or a random number or a rabbit showing up in the middle of the street or just like being at the wrong place in the wrong time and somehow it all still makes perfect sense. And sometimes that also means getting nothing at all. No butterflies, no songs, no perfectly timed coincidences. Just me missing Sam and hoping he's still close in his own way and watching over me. I will say, I don't think there's a checklist or a rule book. There's no right version of spiritual connection. At least that's what I'm telling myself. I believe that if something hits you in that deep gut level way where it feels like your person, let it be that. If it helps you get through the day, it counts. If it makes you feel less alone for even 5 seconds, it counts. I'm not trying to be profound here because I am just a girl who lost her brother and still believes he is talking to her in the weirdest little ways. And I need to remind myself that going into the medium session tomorrow, because even if Sam does not come through, if there's no message for me, I'm putting it out into the universe right now that does not mean Sam is not still here looking over me, taking care of me, watching me, being proud of me. I don't know. The universe works in weird, mysterious ways. And of course, I am like crossing my fingers and toes and everything I can to get a sign from Sam, but I think I'll be okay if that doesn't happen as well. So stay tuned next week to hear how it goes with the medium. And if you have a story of your own about a sign you have received, DM me, email me, send a voice note, write it in the show notes and comment below. I eventually would hope to do a part 2 with all of my listener stories about signs because you guys have the best stories and I know there's so many more out there that are going to absolutely blow my mind. So thank you for listening, for being open, for being in this weird grief journey with me, and for being here. You all make me feel much less alone in it, and I hope I can do the same for you. And if you are waiting on a sign today, let this be yours. You are doing okay. Your person is so freaking proud of you, and you are not nearly as disconnected as you feel. I think you're closer to your person than it seems. Stay strong. Stay tuned to next week to hear how this medium goes, and I will talk to you next Thursday. Bye.